Welcome to Surface Pro 3 TechReviews.com. I'm Neil, here to help you get more out of your Surface. So I've started these how-to videos and just to help people get an idea of Windows 10. Maybe you're maybe you're someone who's a little reluctant to get Windows 10. Maybe you already have it and you got it sitting on your computer and you're just like, now what? Not really sure how to make any sense of it. Well, in this video, I thought to just give a quick introduction to Windows 10. Some of the things that are similar from Windows 7 environment and a little different, and some things that are similar to the Windows 8 and 8.1 environment and what's a little different. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with Windows 10. I think it is a really good operating system. It's pretty stable. I've been in the Insider program, and so I've actually been on Windows 10 for quite a while. As soon as they, maybe a month or two after they initiated that Insider program, I signed up for it, downloaded it, and it was pretty rough at first. A lot of bugs, a lot of, had to reset my computer quite a bit. It would lock up. And, but now it's working pretty good. And I think it'd be helpful for some people to, for example, my mom just got Windows 10 on her Surface 3. And just after a quick introduction, it kind of breaks the ice. So let's begin. So the first place I think is a good place to start is the Start menu. You'll notice that when you turn your computer on, or when you turn your computer on, and you first get into your Windows 10, you don't go to that Start screen with all of the tiles. Instead, you go to your desktop. And when you go to your Start menu, which is, if you're from Windows 7, this is your bread and butter. This is where you went to get everything. So, and on the left-hand side of your Start menu is really similar to Windows 7, and on the right side is really similar to Windows 8 and 8.1. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, and that's what Microsoft sought to do was, to make the people in the Windows 7 group happy, and to make the people in Windows 8 group happy. And so you got your most used, your settings, your power, to sleep, shut down, restart, all things you're real familiar with. And then down here is just like in Windows 7, at the bottom of your Start screen, there would be a All Programs button. And now it's just an All Apps button. And it lists everything numerically first and then alphabetically. And no different than Windows 7. Anything in here that you might use more frequently, you can either pin it to your Start menu over here, or you could pin it to your taskbar. And so for me, how that works for me is stuff that I use not every day, but frequently enough to where I don't want to keep digging in the whole list of everything to find it. I'll put that on the Start menu. I'll put that shortcut right to here. So say, for example, like Keeper, just right-click it, and instead I already have it on my Start, but you just say Pin to Start, and it would come up here. And if it's a program that supports live tiles, like here's the money, it supports live tiles, so this is updated. The weather app, that's updated, so it shows the current weather and so on. If it supports that and you put it on your Start menu, you'll see it do that automatically. But it's just that easy to pin something there, or you can also pin it to your desktop too. And so anyway, what I was saying was, stuff that I use pretty frequently, I'll pin to my Start menu, but stuff that I use every day, I'll pin to the taskbar. and that's what I got down here. So that's kind of your start menu in a nutshell, and you can drag out here and you can make it bigger if you like. You can make it taller or shorter if you like this here. And it's basically how you want to customize it. One thing about Windows 10 is that it is extremely customizable. Every little detail, for the most part, you can change it to how you like it. So, and that I think is pretty neat, and I think that'll make it appealing to the bulk of the Windows users. When you swipe in from the right, and you're used to Windows 8, you'll notice that there is no more Charms menu on Windows 10. Instead, I'm going to swipe in from the right, and this is called your Action Center. And I could also hit this little button right here, and it brings up the same menu, or the same Action Center. And it's real similar, though, to your Windows 8 Charms bar. And it's got some improvements, too. So in here, any message or that you receive, it'll be listed here for you to review. And so if your computer installed any updates, it'll list your email messages, things like that. It'll just list them all here for you, and you can go one by one and delete them. You can click on them to open them, or you can just come here and clear them all. It doesn't delete what's there, like I just cleared that email. My email is still in my inbox. It's not up here in the Action Center. And then down here are some kind of shortcuts to commonly used features. And if there's any feature that you want to modify, you could come into your all settings, similar to your settings in Windows 8 when you swiped in from the right to get the Charms bar. And in here you get this is most of your settings. It still does have the control panel, which is more Windows 7-ish. But for the most part, you'll find your day-to-day settings you're going to change right in here. And so I won't go into all these. Like I said, I wanted to give you a quick little review on them. And that's kind of like your replacement for your Charms bar. You get this, what's called an Action Center. Another feature I wanted to kind of brush on was Cortana. And Cortana is down here. It will usually, yeah, you see Cortana jumped up there because she heard me say H-E-Y, Cortana. I can't say it or she's going to pop up again. But down in, when you first, I think by default, this is set to show a text box in it. And I chose on the taskbar properties just to show me the icon, just to save space. I like everything uncluttered, as you can tell. I don't like any desktop shortcuts on my desktop, and the stuff on my taskbar I like to be minimal. Just stuff I use quite frequently. So, but on your Cortana, when you click it, she will, she kind of gives you a update on little stuff that might interest you. You know, so for example, she talks about the weather. Not going to rain today, I hope. Then any stocks you might follow, top news, and as you scroll through, you see the top up here. She'll kind of change she'll tell you what you're looking at. And so here's some of the top stories from around the world, and then it also gives some local news too. And this is all updated automatically. Some stuff that's popular now or trending, recommended articles. Here's something neat also, that Cortana will also, uh, she will also monitor your, which you can disable if you don't like it, but she will monitor your emails. And so if you have any um, plane, if you're planning on flying somewhere, or like in that example there you saw where it's got that, it keeps track of your packages, that you might buy maybe through Amazon or whatever. But basically, what she does is she goes through your emails, and she and not only your emails, but just through the internet, and she keeps track of your stuff. Which for me, I really like it. Some people, they're a little bit like, oh man, that's infringing in my privacy and all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, they know all that stuff anyway. I mean, it doesn't mean you just get careless and give them control of everything, but but for me anyway, I think that's a pretty neat feature. Saves me time, and I appreciate that. Um, so also in Cortana, you can click on the microphone and speak to her, similar to Siri. If there's any settings that you want to change in Cortana, you can open up this little hamburger menu, and this will give you the labels of these little icons. And under Notebook and then Settings, these are all of the settings that you can modify to get Cortana to work how you want it to. Oh, I keep saying her name and she pops up like that. But where was I? Right here. And if you want, you could turn her off. Just switch there. Or matter of fact, let me turn this off. This, if you have this enabled, this will, anytime you say, "Hey Cortana," she'll pop up. And you don't have to have your Surface or your computer plugged in to have that feature. Like for me, I also have an iPhone 5, and I can say, "Hey Siri," and she'll pop up. But the only way she'll do that or respond to that is if she's plugged in. Well, you can have this do that without being plugged in. So it can be good, it can be bad. You could turn it on or off, whatever your preference is. And there's a few more little settings. You know, for me, I'm the kind of person that I go into all these settings. I gotta check what's there. I mess around with it. What does this button do? Okay, now what does this one do? I know some people aren't that adventurous, um, but I figured I would kind of give a little brush or a little introduction, sort of, maybe to take some of the intimidation out of it too. And remember, your Windows 10, in my opinion, is pretty stable. So, have some fun with those little buttons there. Read them carefully, of course, and make a good, educated decision about everything you do. Don't just, go around deleting everything and, oh, it's Windows 10, it'll be okay. No, you can mess your computer up if you're stupid in that way, just go deleting stuff without a care. But if you're pretty cautious, for the most part, I think you'll be okay, But especially like little features like Cortana and stuff, and different things like that, yeah, it won't hurt to check them out and get familiar with it, And especially if you got a desktop and a laptop or a tablet, and the more things running Windows 10, the better for you, because now you're only having to learn one operating system, and that was kind of Microsoft's vision. And I think that was pretty. I think that was pretty revolutionary what they were doing, and I think that's where they were leading to at Windows 8, but they didn't quite get there, and it was pretty rough. But Windows 10 is a whole lot more polished than that. Another feature of Windows 10 that is pretty unique is what Microsoft calls Continuum. And you get that from, if I swipe in from the right and bring up our Action Center, one of our shortcut buttons is tablet mode. Let me use the mouse so you can see right here. And when I click this, it's going to start maximizing the it's going to start running programs full screen. And although here's one difference between Windows 10 and Windows 8 is you will still have your taskbar on the bottom. You know how in Windows 8 you would open up an app and it would be full screen, and but it would take away your taskbar. Your clock on the bottom would be gone. All your list of programs that you could see what was open, that would be gone. So you would have no idea what was open, and that is, I know a lot of people who that's a big problem for them when they're using Windows 8 is just, hey, what in the world do I got open? And bouncing from Metro app interface to desktop interface, depending on what app you pick, is really confusing. And to me, I think that was really poor, because it is confusing. Even as I got real familiar with Windows 8, when I would go to help somebody, because nobody knew how to run Windows 8. Who's going to think about swiping in from the left to, change your app, and swiping in from the right to open up a charms bar? And, if somebody doesn't tell you that stuff and you're not familiar with a tablet, you're most likely not going to think of that. So, anyway, that's one great improvement that they've made in Windows 10 is that it is like a desktop. So no matter what app or program or software you run, everything stays within the desktop. So you always have that as like your base. Right? Now, when you go to tablet mode, you will that will be more like your Windows 8 start menu that if you're from Windows 8, you're more familiar with. So let me show you. If I click on tablet mode, you see that it opens up that start menu and it brings up all of my tiles and it makes them all full screen. And this is just like on Windows 10. I still have my taskbar though. I still have my list of programs I use frequently and my clock and so on. But you'll see that it is and this is just when you click on that tablet mode, you're telling it, hey, I want to use this like a tablet. I'm not using a mouse. And so everything is optimized for touch. You'll notice that if you were to take it off and put it back on, you would notice that on the bottom, the buttons even space out a little bit more when you go into tablet mode, making it easier for you to touch them. And when you get to this, though, you don't have to, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. You don't have to turn this on and off by just using the this little button in the action bar. Anytime you, I'm going to remove my keyboard just to show you what happens. Right there. You see it brings up this little notification. Do you want to switch to tablet mode? This makes Windows more touch friendly when using your device as a tablet. Now in this menu, I have it set to always ask me before switching, which I believe is the default. But you can change that to remember my response and don't ask again. So basically, if you pick that other option, whichever one you choose, it's just going to remember it. So if you don't like the tablet mode and you want to always stay in desktop mode, you just say, no, I don't want it. And if you want it to remember that, you can just tell it to remember it. Or if you like the tablet interface, you can tell it to remember that you do. And every time you add your keyboard or take your keyboard off, or even just fold it backwards, underneath your tablet. I'm working from a Surface Pro 3. It'll do the same thing. And so that's really handy. It's I got my I connected the keyboard back, and you notice it didn't ask me because I never changed it. So, and for me anyway, there's times when I do like the tablet mode, there's times when I don't, and so for me, having that ability to change that, that is such a great design. And if you remember some of my other videos that I've posted on some of my reviews on surfacepro3techreviews.com, there's been times when I've even said using Windows 8 when I just don't like swiping down from the top to close an app. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like having to swipe all the way down like that. I like keeping the little X's up there. And so here I get to do that. You know, if I'm using my tablet and I got a program open, there's my X right there, you know, on each one. And I could just tap it with my finger, or I could, you know, with the mouse, whatever. But I still have the option because sometimes, like, say, for example, I'm in Nook. Nook is real handy. Nook works real nice when you're in tablet mode. Everything just works beautifully. You know, it worked really good in Windows 8, and you know, sometimes when I noticed if I open up Nook and I'm looking at a magazine or whatnot, the print becomes bigger when I open it in tablet mode, and it just becomes a whole lot more touch friendly. And I just love that. I think that's a great design. And so this appeals to people from both the Windows 7 environment and the Windows 8 environment. You got both. You get to choose whichever one you like, and I think that is just such a great. Let me go give you another example of that. For example, if I open up Outlook, you'll see the difference. All I want to show is the difference between how this looks in regular desktop mode and how it changes, which are subtle changes, in tablet mode. But I noticed one thing that I liked about Windows 8 when I had Outlook on it was along the right side there would be a small little shortcut menu. You know, it would have delete. You could move the email. You can even move up and down with arrows to go on different emails. So, you know, you could do pretty much everything you needed to do right from that little menu on the right hand side, which is right where I grabbed it anyway. But you see that's gone, and I'm in desktop mode. So let me show you what it looks like in tablet mode. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually because I don't want to keep taking my keyboard off or folding it back. This is easier. And once I hit tablet mode, you see everything adjusted, and there's that menu right there again. And so if I'm holding this in portrait mode, which is how I usually will do it if I have it like a tablet, you can see how these are just right there. You know, they're right there by your thumb, and easy to control and do exactly what you want to do. And that is another, that's just one of those benefits of having that tablet feature, you know, that you can enable or disable if you don't like it, you know. And another, that's just a great design. And this is just one example of how the interface changes based on whether you have it in tablet mode. One more new feature about Windows 10 that I wanted to cover is Edge. Edge is Microsoft's new web browser. So it's no longer Internet Explorer, even though you see the E and it kind of looks like it, but it's actually Microsoft Edge. And it's a very good web browser, actually. I really like it. It's really fast. You know, so if you go to open up a web page, or I'm touching it right now, or you're just scrolling, it's really responsive. And not only is it fast and responsive, but it's not as system heavy as Google Chrome. Google Chrome has been my browser that I use, and I really like Google Chrome a lot, and I still do, you know, and you'll notice down here I still have it installed on here. And by the way, I do, no matter which browser you have as your preference, I cannot tell you enough how important I think it is to always have a second browser. Whether it's Google Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla, Opera, whatever it is, no matter how much you feel strongly about whatever browser you choose, always have at least two on any computer. And I have seen where either one of them gets accidentally deleted and now they have no internet connection. I seen where one of them gets an update and now that update has made you lose internet connection, or even a virus, and that browser becomes inoperable. So take it from me and just get that second browser, whatever it is. You don't have to have it up here, you know, on your taskbar. You could just have it in your all apps list somewhere and save it for that rainy day, you know, when you need it. And I have found that to be very useful. Anyway, I really like Microsoft Edge, their browser. I think they did a good job. Up here, you got a few different little buttons up here. This is what they call the hub, and it's basically where it saves all of your, where you can choose to save all of your links. Me, I like putting everything on the address bar, so it's right here. And then over here on the right, this little arrow gives you more. This gives you, you know, you could add a whole bunch of them. You can see I got quite a bit. Up in here is your, you could choose your settings. Under your settings, you see you can have a, I have the dark theme, but there's also a light theme that makes everything lighter. And that's, again, just based on your own preferences. Your favorite bar, I don't even think this is enabled by default. I forget. So if you don't see a bar up here, just go in your settings and change that to on to make it, if you like it anyway. And then, you know, you can change these settings as you like. I would recommend going through them and getting familiar with them. Another improvement that they have made is web notes. And so if I click on this, well, you know what, let me go to a, let me pick a page here just to, let me see. Yeah, I don't want to open up anything too technical here, but here, we'll go to this one. And they're just case in point. I want to look how fast this popped up. I mean, that's just incredible. This really is a fast browser. I mean, that thing popped up like almost instantly. And granted, there's not a lot of pictures or anything here, but even when there is, it's still pretty good, pretty fast, and I like that. But anyway, say we want to make a note on here. We could click on here, and you see we get this new toolbar on the top. And this is your pan, so this means you can click on here and move around, right? Move your web page around. But when you click on, this one is your pen, and now I have the Surface Pen here, and I don't know how this is going to show up on the screen, but say I want to circle this Cortana on the Surface 3. That's all I got to do. I use my pen to do it. You can use the mouse, but of course it's kind of cumbersome. And now if I want to, you know, I want to tell my friend, check this out, you know, and rather than sending them a link and telling them, hey, you know, go down about a third of the page to the heading that says Cortana on the Surface Pro 3, and you know, rather than going through all that explanation, you can just go right to the web page on Edge, go on to the web notes, and draw right on there, right on there. And now I can actually send this to whoever I want, just hitting the share button. And well, you just saw Edge crash. I went to make the web note and to share it, and you saw it just crashed on me. I was thinking about editing it out, but I'm gonna leave it in because, you know, I'm not here to sell you Windows. I'm just here to inform you about it, and that's been a problem actually in the preview. That happening. It's not a feature I use a whole lot though. So just so you're aware of it, it may, maybe that's uh, a feature you might use a lot. And if so, then actually, I would recommend using Google Chrome. And there's actually a OneNote extension that you can use to make screen clippings and send it to OneNote. And it actually works really well. So at least until Microsoft gets their stuff in order, at least you got a good workaround. But other than that, I don't want to throw a lot of salt on Edge because even even still, I think it's a pretty good browser. Um, but enough with that. I want to show you another feature, which is desktops. In Windows 10, you're able to have multiple desktops. And right now I have the button for it off, but I'm going to enable it so I could show you. When you install Windows 10, you're going to have this button on there by default. And it's called Task View when you hover over it. And when you click on it, it shows you all the desktops that you have open. Right now I don't have any except the main one I'm on. But let me show you how that works. So let's just say I have my Nook. You get to see some of this stuff too, I guess. But we'll just say we'll look at this one here. And remember, I said that if you open this while in tablet mode, this shows out a lot better. It takes up the whole screen, and plus I got my keyboard still attached and my screen laying horizontally. So, to read it like a book, you want to have it going up and down. It works much better. But anyway, just for what I'm doing here, I just want to give you a quick little tip on what this multiple desktop is. So anyway, here I am. This is my first desktop. I'm going to come here and I'm going to create a second desktop. All right, now here I am down here on the bottom. I'm going to select this and there's nothing open, right? You see that? Now on my other desktop, I got Nook open. You see that? And Nook is here. Here's my taskbar. So I've got Nook here, but now on this second desktop, I've got nothing. Well, what's so useful about that? Well, let me show you. Say, for example, I'm on my second desktop now, and say I'm doing some sort of research using Excel, and I'm using the internet to help me do my research, right? And actually, here, we can just do this here, make it a little easier. And you'd set this up. I'm not going to go through all that. I don't have time. I gotta be heading back to work. My break time's almost over. But anyway, so here is on this desktop, and I'm doing my research on the web, and I'm putting in my results in Excel. But this is on a totally separate desktop, you see. And if we go back to our first desktop, we'll see that it's still set up with Nook on there, right? So the advantage of that is instead of having to close windows, certain windows and open up other ones, and you're trying to juggle everything on one desktop. Windows 10 makes it easy by creating multiple desktops, and you can just customize each one the way you want and keep it that way, and for some people, maybe many people, they won't use it, but you got some people that do a lot of whatever kind of task you can do, it can be useful, and so for you it's there. And it's easy to close them. Just go right over the X, that closes it, and I'm done with these two, so I could close all that. One thing I think would be kind of neat would be to have your live tiles like these, to be able to pin those to the desktop. I think that'd be a pretty neat feature. Then I might have stuff on my desktop. But but that's just a basic introduction to Windows 10. There's another feature called Windows Hello, and it's for newer computers that have a camera that can recognize you by your face, and you don't have to use a password. Your face is your password basically, and so instead of having to use your a regular password or a PIN number or even a picture password, you're able to use Windows Hello, and the camera that's on your PC will be able to log you in just by recognizing your face, facial recognition software. So that's pretty neat, and that's integrated in Windows 10. But if your computer doesn't, it takes a different sort of camera, and on my Surface Pro 3, I don't have that, so I don't have that feature, so I can't show it to you. But I know it would be. I was thinking about that, and if you're like me, you just get tired of logging into all these windows or all these different programs in that, and I thought it'd be kind of neat if they would make on the pen for the Surface Pro 3, if they would make a fingerprint ID scanner on that. Since the hardware and everything's already built for the Surface Pro 3, and until they come out with the Surface Pro 4 as a neat little add-on, I think that'd be kind of a neat idea. Be able to have that fingerprint ID right on the pen. But anyway, that's neither here or there. So this was Windows 10, just a brief introduction. I hope it's giving you some insight into it, kind of broke the ice for you, make you a little bit comfortable with it. See, it actually is a good operating system. I do enjoy it. If you're coming from Windows 8, it's going to be a huge improvement. And from Windows 7, there's just some extra features on there you might find handy. But Windows 7 is great. It's been hammered on. It's super reliable. Probably one of the most reliable operating systems from Microsoft yet. I don't think Windows 10 is there yet, but it's definitely getting there, and I can say I've seen big strides in Windows 10 since when I originally started as the insider to where it is now. It's made huge leaps and bounds, and there is actually a lot of features that are really useful, and I'll make different videos highlighting some of those features, how to use them, and but if you got any ideas for future videos, I love to hear your comments or your suggestions. So you can either email those to me or put them on my YouTube channel in the comment section. I read every one, and I try to respond to them too.